Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. You probably noticed that I'm not in my garage because today we have a special guest and he's Frank.
Frank, yes.
How are you?
I'm good, you, Pan?
Absolutely, thank you. Thanks for having me, by the way, in your garage.
And it's an honor to be on your channel, by the way.
Absolutely, guys. He has his own YouTube channel for detailing and it's called Detailing Dogma.
Detailing Dogma, yes. I started my channel 5 months ago.
Up-and-coming star. What I've been noticing is that he does extremely good videos, but more importantly, guys, he's doing positive things for the community. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I like to give back to other content creators that are doing some good things, and I want to see him progress. So please, I'll leave the links to his channel in the description under the video. Go show him the Pan, the Organizer, love and support. We're going to learn a few awesome things. So what I asked people that I collab with to do is to come out with an awesome idea for you guys to benefit. And so what Frank decided to have us do today is give the differences between different forms of paint correction to help you guys make a better decision yourselves if you're doing the paint correction on your vehicle, or if you go to a detailing professional, have a better understanding of what the differences are for the money or the budget that you have. So we're going to be doing the differences between a two-step correction, so a compound followed by a polish. We're going to do a one-step, so just a polish on its own. We're also going to do an all-in-one, so a light polish with a bit of protection, also known as a paint enhancement. So we have a vehicle here today. Why don't you talk about, first of all, your channel. What do you specialize in and what you do, and then the vehicle we have and what kind of steps we'll be looking at.
All right. Okay, so for the Detailing Dogma channel, I try to do a variety show. I try to have a little bit of everything, but today we're going to talk about the polishing steps. Machine polishing, paint correction. We'll try to keep it simple for you, but for today's demonstration we have a BMW 335i 2014 with over 150,000 kilometers, or about just under 100,000 miles. We have a really weathered paint.
I could tell there's a lot of swirls, oxidation and scratches and a whole bunch of stuff. So how did you prep the vehicle before we do the steps? Because you always have to prepare the surface before you do paint correction.
Yeah. So with a simple pressure wash, and I did a rinseless wash and the decontamination towel as well. The paint is really bare now, really smooth, and we also did an IPA just to be sure we have a clean surface and it's really ready to be polished.
By the way, I'm going to leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So as usual, all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So we're in Frank's garage here. We're going to do the steps, but if you want to talk a bit more about what we're doing, because we're not focusing on the products themselves, although we will be explaining what products and pads we're using.
Exactly.
But what is the strategy behind this? What are people going to be seeing?
Yeah, so I picked up a couple combos. So there's many different ways to go about paint correction. There's many opinion on the manner, but the method I have choose today is using a dual action polisher. After that, I picked up the compounds and the pads according to what I'm used to and specific for this paint, and what seems to be working well on it. Yeah,
because don't forget guys, when you're doing paint correction, so Frank, before we started filming the video, did a few test spots. So it's important that you realize not all paints are the same, not all clear coats are the same type. Some are softer, some are medium, some are harder, not the same level of defects and paint correction required. So you got to find the right combinations of compounds, polishes, and pads. We covered that in my paint correction tutorial for beginners, so go check that out if you want to have all the basics. But today, basically the focus is we really want to see the difference. What is a two-step? So what are the results from that? The one-step and an all-in-one protection.
So we don't want to compare, for example, Koshemi medium versus Rupes fine. The point of this video is not to compare products to products or pads to pad. We're going to try to translate a real-world situation where you would get an all-in-one polish on your car at home or via a professional. So you would use probably a softer pad with the all-in-one product and do about something we can agree on 2 passes. And the one step we would go to a medium pad in this instance. We're going to use the Lake Country pads. This is what I use and what I like. With the Koshemi F6. And we would do normally like about 4 passes, medium arm movement. And for the two-step, we're going to have the Lascott Plus compound, heavy compound, with a Lake Country wool pad, foam backed. So I will show we will talk more in depth on the products and the pad and the technique.
Yes.
And the second step on the two-step polishing compound is going to be Sonax Perfect Finish with our Orange Lake Country HDO.
Perfect. And for the all-in-one, we have the Rupes Advanced.
Yeah.
So all that you're going to see, of course. We're going to do some B-roll shots while we're doing the correction itself. And we're most importantly going to show the before and after. So hopefully on screen right now, you can see the before shots. So you're going to see that the hood has a lot of swirls, a lot of scratches, a lot of oxidation. There are some water spots that we can see, right? There was damages from bug guts that were left too long on the paint. So those are acidic and can etch through the clear coat if they're left unattended. Same thing for water spots. So we're not looking for 100% paint correction. This is a daily driver, guys. So this is not a museum piece. It's not a garage queen. We're going to give kind of an everyday scenario of what could normally be achieved. So we're looking probably for 80 to 90% correction, something reasonable. We're not going to spend days polishing this, but it's more importantly to show you the differences so you can make a better decision as to a two-step with a compound and a polish. What does that give you versus side by side on the same hood, on the same test panel? What it gives you with just a one-step polish or an enhancement or an all-in-one where you do some light polishing and a bit of protection. So the hood we have here was split in 4 sections. We're gonna have the control where we do nothing so you can see what it looks like. We have the 2-step, the 1-step, and the all-in-one. So 4 big boxes, I think you're excited to see. So Frank, I'm gonna put you to the test.
Yeah.
He's gonna be doing all the heavy lifting today and giving you, well, the befores and afters as well. And hopefully you're gonna see the big differences that we're gonna achieve. Is there anything you wanna add before we start?
We're ready to get into it.
We're ready to go. Let's do it.
All right. Okay, everyone, a couple quick words before we jump in the video. So I named my channel Detailing Dogma because detailing for me and for many people is like a religion, it's a lifestyle. So if you choose to come on my channel, you'll see that we go deep in many different subjects from the detailing world, from pre-washes to soaps, polishing, and I really try to invest a lot of time in showing you in my videos the before and after, just like this one that we're gonna do with pan. So the name of the game in Detailing Dogma is Real World Authentic Detailing. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's get into it. Okay, we're almost at the polishing steps, but before we start, look at the condition of the paint. I want you to pay close attention of the reflection of the lighting strip coming up from the ceiling, and then you'll see a couple different shots using an inspection light just like this one by Scan Grip. So in this specific car, we have a 10 years old paint that lived outside his whole life. So you can see there's a layer of oxidation, which looks like a milky look to the paint. We also have minerals and water spots deposit all over the surface. Those happen when you let tap water dry on your paint. So make sure you dry your car as soon as possible when you're done washing the car. After that, we have micro scratches. So those are going to be the fine scratches. Some people call them spider webbings, angel hair. There's many different names for them, but those are the finest scratches you're going to have. So the micro scratches can be many different things. It can be coming from a brush, rubbing against the paint, or simply bad washing process. And then we have deeper scratches that we call rids in detailing, or random isolated scratches. So if you want to avoid all those defects, other than washing the car, you should not touch the paint all that much. And then on this paint, I can see bird dropping and bug guts that is being hatched on the paint. So you'll want to remove those contaminants as soon as possible when they lay on your car. This is why we recommend you to wash your car at least every 2 weeks, even better once a week. Okay, so Pan and I have already divided the hood into 4 sections. Your top left is going to stay unchanged as a control section. Then the least aggressive method, the all-in-one on your bottom left. If you have been following Pan's channel, you already know what is an all-in-one, but essentially the all-in-one is a compound, polish, and protect in one application. For this step, we're going to use the Lake Country Orange HGO 3-inch. I'll then spread the product with 1 pass and do 2 more medium pass arm movement. We'll let the sealant from the all-in-one dwell for about 15 minutes before wiping it off clean. I remind you that we're using the Flex PXC80 dual action 3-inch polisher for today's video, and that the all-in-one that we choose is Rupes Uno Advance. Now let's move over the 1-step section on your bottom right. We're going to use a Lake Country Blue HDO heavy polishing pad combined with the Koshemi F6 Fine Cut. Don't get confused with the word fine. This is a very capable medium compound, extremely versatile product, one of my favorite. First, to prime the pad, I'll add a couple dots of polish to the foam, rub it in the paint at low speed for a few seconds, and then reload a small amount on the pad. We're going to do 4 passes with the machine to remove the most defect in a reasonable amount of time. 4 passes is something I usually find appropriate for a one step, but keep in mind everyone has his own thoughts process. To clean our pads today, I'm using an air compressor with the Tornador attachment. Alright, on your top right section, the 2-step, where we have the most expectation. For the heavy cut, we're going to use a Lake Country low-lint lamb's wool with the foam backing, combined with the Last Cut Plus compound by the Last Detail brand. Shout out to Jay Price, the owner of this small company, by the way. When it comes to any type of fiber pads, I like to prime every single filament with compound to get the most out of it, which is going to result in a small amount of product sling, but that's just part of doing heavy cutting. Now the number of passes I ended up doing is 5 quick left to right or up and downs. Okay, my friends, so stay tuned because Pan and I have captured extremely good footage before and after outside in the bright sun. You don't want to miss this out. Now that we're done with the polishing, I'll show you each section with different lighting. First with the inspection light and then with the lights coming from the ceiling. So both are gonna give us a different perspective. You'll see that in the one-step section, it seems like we have very good gloss, but we still have a couple deep scratches remaining. It's especially noticeable with the lighting coming from the ceiling. But like I said, stay tuned. We're gonna pull this outside in the sun and you'll see the real picture here. And for the 2-step, we still need to do the second step, the final polish, to really remove that haze remaining. You can notice a light blue tint to the paint. But like I said, the second step with perfect finish should take care of all of that. Now to the all-in-one. So I'll keep the final result and the before and after for the end part of the video. But quickly here, we removed the oxidation, we brought back the gloss, but we still have a lot of defects remaining. But stay tuned for the final look outside with the tape removed later on this video. Okay, for the second step on the 2-step section, we're gonna use the Lake Country Orange Pad 3-inch combined with Sonac's Perfect Finish. So I'm just gonna do a quick 2-pass here that should take care of whatever defect we have left behind with our first step.
Here we are, the moment everyone has been waiting for. So I hope you can appreciate the improvements that we have made with this paint polishing video. The result speaks for themselves. Pan and I were so excited to show you the final shots. So in the all-in-one square, the all-in-one polish section, did we make progress? Absolutely. It's still just an enhancement polish at the end of the day, but look at the rest of the unpolished paint. Incredible, fast and easy results despite having some leftover minor defects. This AIO process was still able to remove oxidation, mineral deposits, and at least about 50% of the swirl on a car that accumulated about 10 years of wear and tear. Now to the one-step polish section. It's where the value is in terms of effort to result ratio. We've got an amazing correction. The gloss is top-notch, no haze left behind, just a small amount of micro scratches and a couple deeper ones, but with another maybe 4 passes, we will have been near perfection territory. To the last section, look at the cut and finish multi-step section. Obviously here we have the most gains in every aspects. Maybe 2 scratches remaining that we could have gotten out with another round of compound, but really satisfying before and after. Alright, so what do you think? Which process would you go for? So the goal of today was to showcase the difference between those 3 steps and what you can expect from those 3 different paint correction processes in a real world scenario. Guys, if you like this video so far, please take a moment right now to click on the like button and subscribe. Thank you.
All right, guys, so it's time to look at the final results on screen right now. We're going to show you what this looks like. We brought the vehicle outside in direct sunlight so we can have a look. Hopefully it translates well on camera. So Frank, I want to ask you, again, we have a control section. We have a section where we did an all-in-one, so light correction with a bit of fillers and of course a little bit of light protection. We have a 1-step where just a polish was used, and we have the 2-step where we started with a compound and finished with the polish. So what are your impressions? Are there, first of all, any differences, and what are those differences?
Yeah, so right off the bat, when we pulled it outside, there's a massive and big difference. The best impression, obviously, it's the oxidation remove that we have accomplished in all 3 test spots. And after that, I would say that the swirls or the micro scratches overall from the all-in-one, we still have some scratches, but they're less apparent.
Yes.
You need to really look at it in a special angle with good lighting to see them. And then afterwards, on the 1-step, there's still some rids, some random isolated scratches that we can notice here and there. Not perfect at all, but we brought back a massive amount of gloss, and it's almost as good as the 2-step. So
yeah, a lot of clarity. We can see the metal flakes too in the paint because it's not a solid flat black. It's a metallic paint.
Yeah, so in terms of final gloss, it's pretty close with the 2 steps. But the difference, obviously, is the amount of rids and scratches remaining in the panel.
I would agree. That's what I saw as well. So if we look at, let's say, the least amount of improvement all the way up to the most amount of improvement, it's a bit as we'd expect. So obviously the control is the most disgusting because that's where you see all the swirls, all the scratches, all the watermarks, the bug gut leftovers, and also the haze or that milky white appearance. That's the oxidation with the sun's UV rays. This vehicle didn't seem to have much protection on it at the time. So that's probably one of the reasons why. And it's also 10 years old. So moving up from the control section, the next improvement was the all-in-one. So we gave a lot of slickness because there's protection in there. There was an improvement in gloss, but like Frank said, definitely we still see much needed improvement. However, all-in-ones, because they're a quick way to enhance, they're also often called paint enhancements. It's an inexpensive and quick way. You saw he did less passes as well, right?
Yeah, I did 2 passes only.
Exactly.
With the softer orange pad compared to the blue heavy polishing pad.
Yes, which is a heavier cut on the polishing side.
Yeah.
So that all-in-one is meant to do something very quick. So obviously, for the majority of people who don't have necessarily the biggest budgets, but want to see a clear marked improvement, because we do see the control versus the all-in-one, you do get improvement in clarity, improvement in gloss, some light correction. There's a lot of filling that goes on as well in most of the all-in-ones because they contain fillers to temporarily mask the imperfections. So it's not necessarily true paint correction like with a real polish or a compound, but definitely visually, especially when you stand a few feet back, it looks pretty awesome, and you definitely get the gloss. So control section, the worst. The next one after that, all-in-one. The second to last most improvement, or the biggest improvement before the two-step, is obviously the one-step. So an improvement over the all-in-one is using a pure polish. So you used a pad that was a little more coarse, a little more aggressive. So the blue HDO pad from Lake Country. And so we removed a lot more swirls and scratches compared to the all-in-one, but not as much removal of swirls and scratches compared to the two-step. So visually for me, the two-step, that's where we saw the most improvement, because yes, there are still a bit of deeper scratches, which there wasn't the goal to do 100% paint correction. We want to preserve as much clear coat as possible, very important. But we did see a marked improvement. So the two-step versus the one-step, what would you say is the biggest difference between the one and the two?
So with the one-step, you're actually trying to accomplish two tasks at the same time. With a softer pad, it did an incredible job, in my opinion. There's still some defects, but it's gonna be depending on your tolerance for the amount of defects left. If you walk out 6 feet away, it's really hard to tell the difference. Because the gloss is almost as good. But in the end, like I said, it depends on your degree of tolerance for the defects. Obviously, the two steps.
That was the best, right?
It's always going to be the best.
It takes more time, but definitely the results are there. So again, like Frank said, it really depends, first of all, on your budget. So if you're having to outsource this to a professional detailer, if you don't want to do it yourself, note that the reason why you're paying so much is for the manual labor. So manually correcting a vehicle with the machines, the pads, and you need skill as well to do that. So that comes at a certain cost. So depending on your expectations and your budget, have the conversation with your professional detailer, but at least you now can see the differences, what a one-step can give you versus a two-step. Obviously, if you want to get as close to 90% correction, the two-step is a better option because you're removing the majority. You're clarifying all the oxidation. You're removing that milky appearance. You're going to go for the deeper ridges, the deeper scratches, the deeper swirls. You're improving clarity with the two-step as well. You're also getting the most bang for your gloss. You're getting all the positives of combining the compound finished with the polish step. However, again, the one-step is still very decent.
It's so good. It's so good and quick. But on the two-step section, on a weathered paint, just like this one, you gotta keep in mind we still have one or two rids in the panel, in the section. So it's important to keep that in mind, that it's not always 100%. So to remove the last bit of defect, the last, I don't know, 5 or 10%, we would have to sand maybe with 3000 grit, or do a couple more passes, and thus removing more paint material and clear coat. But nonetheless, the two steps obviously is the choice for the people who have the highest standard, right?
And of course, if you start with wet sanding, then that's a completely different ball game. So yes, you are further refining, further removing those deeper scratches and swirls, but that's always at the sacrifice of sacrificing even more or removing more of that clear coat. And of course, in the top portion of the clear coat, that's where you get the majority of the UV blockers. So the more you're polishing your car, the more you're reducing that clear coat, well, you're prone to clear coat failure if you over polish. So when your car is polished, by the way, and it's fully ceramic coated, or you add your wax or your sealant, because after this now, do an IPA solution to wipe all the polishing oils off and do some paint protection. If you use safe washing and drying methods, you should not have to repolish your car with a two-step for years to come. And yes, it's a daily driver. Yes, it's going to see some wear and tear here and there. But if you use those safe washing and drying methods,
good point, Pam.
We both have tutorials, it should be fine.
That's a good point. So afterwards, we've done the bulk of the correction. I would try to keep up with it. Maybe once every 2 years, maybe you just have to do a final polish, or just a really soft one step to keep up with the swirls that you're gonna add and make through the washings over the years.
So a question some viewers might have, Frank, is, so they see us use machine polishers, right, on vehicles. can they do that by hand, or is a machine necessary? I have a tendency to tell my viewers that polishing by hand is a very hard task. You're going to do spend a lot of elbow grease and time. You're never going to achieve the results for obvious reasons compared to a machine. But what is your take on that? And do they need an expensive machine? Like,
depends on your age, I would say, but by hand for me it's a big no-no. It's going to wear out your elbows and your shoulders. Maybe just for fun, you can try a small section. If you have some Maguire's Ultimate Compound, try it out if you want. Even with a rag, you're going to get some result to some degree. But I really want to encourage everyone to maybe consider invest in a polisher. Nowadays, we have a lot of options in around $200.
I even have a video on affordable polishers. If you don't have the big budget for the Rupes or the Flex, the expensive machines, you can always. I first started when I was 16, so that's like 27 years ago, with a Porter Cable 7424 XP. So that was super basic. Still today, those are some of the most inexpensive. And just wet your feet, get out there, do the testing. With dual action, you're not going to burn through your clear coat. Don't worry about that. You need to be standing with like 20 pounds of pressure on the same spot for over 20 minutes. The rag company had done a video on that. Like they burn through only after 11 minutes, I think, on the same spot. So you need to be very idiotic to burn through the clear coat. Do not worry. Do some testing, enjoy the process.
Start with a foam pad. A Rupes yellow would be a good starting point, or the Lake Country. Orange pad is one of my favorite. Cuts great, finish great, and depending on what type of paint, it might be the only thing that you need. And go ahead and grab a medium compound with it and try it out. Just make sure you're not in the full sun, and you'll be fine.
Always work in the shade or in a garage if you can. Never in direct sunlight for the best user experience. Take your time, do things right. I have a beginner's tutorial on how to do paint correction. Go check that out. I have videos on selecting pads, selecting compounds, polishes, all that stuff. But I want to thank Frank, by the way. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Pan. It's an honor.
Go show him the pan the organizer subscriber loves. So he's detailing Dogma on YouTube. I'll leave his channel linked. Give him the support. He's doing great things for the detailing community. And hopefully you enjoyed this video, by the way. It doesn't have to be very complicated to improve the appearance of your car. And hopefully we brought the message through that there are different steps that you can do, whether it's an all-in-one, whether it's a one-step or a two-step. We'll talk maybe one day about even a three-step potentially if people want to go the entire way. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Smash the thumbs up button to show me your support. I remind you that all the tools, products, and equipment, I'll link those in the video description for you to check them out. Again, check him out on his YouTube channel, Detailing Dogma. Great guy, great stuff. You do a lot of great videos. I highly encourage you to keep on going. I'll be rooting for you. And guys, you know the drill at this point. In the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and we'll see you on the next one.